Hi everyone, and thank you to the Young Lawyers Division of the State Bar of Arizona for having me speak today. I'm going to give a short overview of equitable remedies in Arizona tort litigation. I'll explain the difference between legal and equitable remedies, briefly talk about their history, give some examples, and then discuss two cases in Arizona where equitable remedies were applied. The main difference between legal and equitable remedies is the type of relief that the court will give. Legal remedies usually mean money. In tort cases, this is compensation for things like medical bills, lost wages, property, or pain and suffering. The goal is to put the injured person in the position they would have been if the harm never had occurred in the first place. Equitable remedies are not about money. They are used when money is not enough to fix the problem. These remedies are based only on fairness. Courts in Arizona can grant equitable relief when a legal remedy, such as damages, would not fully solve the harm that occurred. Another important difference between the two is that equitable remedies are discretionary, which means that the judge can decide whether the equitable remedy would be fair or not. Equitable remedies come from the English common law, and little history is that in early England, courts strictly followed legal rules. If someone could not get the relief under the specific rules that they had, then they would petition the king, and the king delegated those decisions to someone else, so the Lord Chancellor, who decided court cases based only on fairness, and this is how the courts of equity developed. And eventually courts of law and equity merged into one system. So in Arizona today, both legal and equitable remedies are handled only in the same court, and the difference between the two of them still matters, especially deciding what type of relief will be applied. So some common equitable remedies that you might see in some cases here in Arizona would be injunctions, when a court order requires someone to do a specific thing or to stop doing a specific thing. So for example, in like a nuisance or property dispute, a court might issue an injunction to stop ongoing harm from occurring. And constructive trust, this is imposed when someone wrongfully gets a certain property, so the court will treat that person as holding the property like in trust for the rightful owner to prevent unjust treatment from occurring. Rescission, this cancels a contract and requires or restores both parties to the position they were in to start with. This might apply in cases where there's some kind of fraud occurring or misrepresentation. And then reformation allows the court to rewrite a document to reflect what the parties actually intended if there was a mistake that was made originally. And declaration relief allows a court to clarify the rights of parties before any further harm can occur. So all these remedies focus mostly on fairness instead of just compensation. And an Arizona case where there's an equitable remedy applied would be Smith v. Beasley in 2011. In this case, the court addressed a property dispute that involved some restrictive covenants. The Court of Appeals upheld injunctive relief to enforce the restrictions that were applied, and the court explained that money damages would not have protected the property involved appropriately, so there was an injunction that was put into place, and this case shows how Arizona courts can use equitable remedies to prevent harm from occurring. Another case would be Turley v. Ethington in 2006. So in this case, the court imposed a constructive trust in a property dispute to prevent unjust enrichment, and the court explained that when someone gains property through inequitable conduct, a constructive trust can be used to make sure that it's all fair. This case highlights Arizona's courts, their willingness to use equitable remedies when more than just money damages or compensation is required for things to be fair. So in conclusion, equitable remedies are an important part of Arizona tort law. Legal remedies focus on financial compensation. Equitable remedies focus mostly on fairness when money awarding is not enough to ensure fairness. These remedies have deep roots in English common law and continue to play an important part in Arizona courts today. Judges have discretion to grant relief, like injunctions or constructive trust, to prevent unjust outcomes and protect rights. Thank you.